major long-term care insurance company, because we have clients, a lot of people had the foresight 20 years ago, not all of us did, and actually bought it. And we have a bunch of clients right now that are receiving long-term care benefits. So this is something, again, you have to control your own destiny, and that's kind of what the letter Governor Rendell sent out saying, go out, find a long-term care insurance provider and get it, because the Aetnas and those guys, while they might cover in-home care for a very short period while you're recovering from a major trauma, they won't pay for it ongoing. The government's not going to pay for it ongoing. You're responsible for yourself.
Yeah. Steve, you mentioned earlier in the interview that you are licensed and accredited, and one of the few that are. First of all, what did you have to go through in order to be licensed and accredited? And secondly, why doesn't the state of Pennsylvania require it? When we have one of the oldest populations in the country in our state. We have a governor who is promoting long-term care insurance and so forth. So it just seems to be a disconnect.
Well, they're working on legislation right now to require licensure for everyone. And if you ask me why, it's because. And it's just because they never did in the past. And so, anytime you're trying to create new legislation, everyone's trying to get their special interest into it and how they're doing it. So it's slow. It probably in the next year or two, they're going to require it for everyone. We went ahead and did it because one of the things we're trying to do is differentiate ourselves. I mean, if you're asking someone to come in your home, and typically you're going to hire me to take care of your parent. It's not the end user that's hiring me, it's one of their kids. You want to feel comfortable that someone is licensed, that they have the right caregivers, that they have a training program, and that makes you more comfortable. So we went ahead and got licensed because we thought it was the right thing to do. It differentiated us, and it gave our clients peace of mind of knowing they had someone coming in that had gone through all the steps that they felt were necessary. Because most people are like you, they're shocked when I say it's not required to be licensed. Because plumbers have to be licensed. I mean, selling insurance, pretty much everything in the state has to be licensed except in-home care.
Who is the licensing group that does this?
Pennsylvania Department of Health.
Okay.
So we're licensed by the state.
Okay, so it's a voluntary thing right now. I mean, they have a set of criteria and a whole program for getting licensed if you want to get licensed.
We are licensed as a home health agency, so we can do nursing, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. We can do other things that the other people can't do. So you're only required to get licensed if you want to provide skilled services, and that would be nursing, occupational therapy, or physical therapy.
I see.
If you just want to provide in-home care, it's not required. So we also work with workman's compensation. We do some work with them with our nursing side also. And we just thought it was the right thing to do. And I think in the next 2 years, you're going to find out most companies are going to have to go through that same thing.
Yeah, good. When you were going through all those very handy tips earlier, I found it very fascinating. Could you share a few more with us? Yeah,
another thing, I talked a little about lighting. Another simple thing you do is install lighted switches. And I'm not talking about putting lighted switches in to reduce the need to put lights in the hallway. I'm talking about putting them in so you can find the light switch and turn the light on. Very simple thing, not expensive to do at all. Another thing is phones. Most people have a phone in their kitchen. Now when I teach a class and I start talking about putting a phone in your bathroom, people start to laugh. And then I say, why don't you put the phone at the bottom of the stairs? And they look at me like I'm nuts. But you think about it, where do you fall? You fall in the bathroom. Well, if I'm hurt in the bathroom, I want a phone there so I can call somebody. Where else can you fall? You fall down the steps. So if there's a phone at the bottom of the steps, pick up the phone and call it. An electrician will come out and install phone jacks. It's not that expensive to do. A couple $100, you can put phone jacks all over your house. But then if you fall, buy a phone for $10 from Kmart or Walmart, wherever you go, and have it there. If you fall down the steps, you won't be laughing then. You'll be picking up the phone and calling somebody and being grateful that you had the foresight to do some very simple things like that. The weird thing is people think about falling now because it's winter. And everyone knows I'm going to shovel my driveway, shovel my walkway, and put salt down. And that's great. You need to do that. But what they don't think about is that walkway that's, over the years, the cement is broken and now it's heaved up. Well, guess what? You've got a risk all year long of falling and tripping on that. But you're more worried about falling in the winter, which is great. Take precautions, and I'm not saying to. But you need to apply that same eye when you're walking and go, well, gee, what's this walkway look like now? You see the things heaved up, fix that, go after it. And there's a ton of little things in your house. Throw rugs. Throw rugs are the enemy. And the reason they're enemy is two reasons. There's a change in elevation when you use a throw rug, so you can trip on the change in elevation. The other thing is they're usually not secured. So you can step on one and start sliding, which is going to make you fall. I tell everyone if you can avoid using throw rugs, get rid of them. If you can't, at least double tape them down.
Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. I'm getting the signal from the control room. This one last question. Are falls related to changes in the brain as much as the body? We talked about, the osteoporosis and your body not being the same as when you're older. But what about the brain? Does the brain have any significant role in all this?
I mean, the brain plays a role in everything you do because it controls everything in your body. So the brain plays a part in it, and your body plays a part in it. And I would say they're pretty much equal when you go through. And there's been a lot of different studies done on falling, And you can draw different conclusions based on how you look at the studies, but it basically boils down to, as you age, your body and mind changes, and you need to react to those changes.
Okay. Well, Steve, this has been fascinating. I've really enjoyed hearing all about this background. It's not something I thought about much myself, but I'm sure it's been a tremendous public service to our viewers. So thanks very much for coming on and talking about preventing falls, and good luck with your company, Liberty In-Home Care.
Great. Thanks a lot, Lou.
All right. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I'd like to thank our Phantom TV team who put the show on the air for us. Our show was directed by Art Rakoczy and Tom Ramsey, and it was produced by Pat Hagerman. Our sponsor has been the Phoenixville Community Health Foundation. As I always like to say, if you're healthy, you're wealthy. It's been my pleasure to be your host. We look forward to having you with us once again real soon. I'll see you around town, everybody. Take care.